In a universe where galaxies collide, Marcus lives in solitude until an alien named Lira crashes into his life, thrusting him into an interstellar conflict. As he navigates a world of power and transformation, he must confront his own humanity. Are freedom and sacrifice two sides of the same coin, or is a greater cost yet to come? Don't forget to subscribe. 91% of viewers enjoy our content but forget to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll stay up to date with our daily sci-fi stories and support a dedicated team of storytellers and content creators who rely on this as their livelihood. Marcus had always cherished the isolating calm of his remote cabin, which nestled deep within a vibrant, ancient forest intertwined with the essence of nature itself. Towering trees with gnarled roots reached outward, whispering secrets to each other through softly swaying branches. The air was thick with the intoxicating scent of pine, mingled with the earthy aroma that arose after a storm. Each night, the symphony of rustling leaves and crooning crickets lulled him into a tranquil slumber. In this sacred sanctuary, Marcus found solace from the chaotic world beyond, a refuge as much for his mind as for his soul. He was of medium build, with tousled dark hair that fell messily around his face, and tired blue eyes reflecting his introspective nature. But one fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, illuminating the sky in hues of deep orange and violet, Marcus sensed an unshakable change in the air. The tranquil forest, usually alive with chirps and whispers, fell eerily silent. Gathering a rustling sense of unease, he stepped outside, instantly captivated by the mesmerizing display above, a cascade of stars, brighter than he had ever seen. Suddenly, from this shimmering celestial tapestry, an otherworldly glow pierced through the tranquil darkness, filling the air with an unsettling energy that sent chills down his spine. As the luminous light descended, it twisted and shaped itself into a figure, gradually revealing a striking alien being. Lira emerged. Her skin glimmered like starlit ice, mesmerizing in its ethereal quality, while her hair, trailing like vaporous tendrils, streamed behind her, catching hues of deep blues and fiery reds from the light. Her eyes burned with an intensity that captivated and terrified Marcus. They were vast, bottomless pools of swirling galaxies, hinting at a deep wisdom and pain. "Marcus," she spoke, her voice a blend of silk and thunder, a direct contradiction that sent shivers of awe through him. "I need your help." There was an undeniable strength in her presence, something that resonated with the inner struggles Marcus had long been grappling with. Despite every instinct urging him to flee, he felt irresistibly drawn to her. "Help? What do you want from me?" he stammered, his heart racing as a torrent of anxiety gripped him, demanding answers he wasn't sure he wanted to hear. "You possess something rare, a skill that could turn the tide for my people." Her words hung heavy in the air, laced with meaning. "You do not understand, but you are the key to our survival." There was a desperation in her voice that sparked a flicker of indignation within him. How could she presume to know anything about him? Bearing the weight of her penetrating gaze, Marcus felt an inexplicable pull towards her, mingled with dread. "I don't even know what you mean," he whispered, casting his gaze toward the ground, grappling with the reality of the moment. "You are a conduit between worlds," she implored, her voice softening, yet resolute. "Your ability to channel willpower is our last hope against impending darkness. A force has risen, and it seeks to push us to the brink of extinction. Time is fleeting. Will you join me in this fight?" In that moment, Marcus realized the chaos surrounding him was not merely an encroachment of disorder but heralded a rebellion far greater than he could fathom. The heaviness of the night pressed down upon him, and even in Chapter 2, the mission in the ensuing days, Marcus found himself inextricably entwined with Lira aboard her sleek, pulsating ship, the Ethereal Dawn. Its exterior shimmered under the pale light of distant stars, while the interior throbbed with a life all its own, a symbiotic blend of organic and mechanical design that echoed with an enchanting rhythm. The walls seemed to breathe, shifting colors in response to their emotions, a sea of blue and calm, fierce reds and oranges during their more intense discussions. Lira, with her starlit skin that glimmered like ice under a full moon, became both his mentor and tormentor. Her posture was regal, yet a deep vulnerability lingered beneath her fierce demeanor. Every word she spoke was laced with urgency, every glance a reminder of the stakes looming around them. "I need to train you," she declared one afternoon, her voice resonating through the vibrant corridors of the ship. "Train me? For what?" Marcus felt a growing confusion rooted deep in his heart, a knot that tightened with each passing moment. The ship pulsed around him as if mirroring his trepidation. "For a gift that only humans possess, the ability to harness your will," Lira replied, her eyes glowing with intensity. "Your essence is vital to our survival." A multitude of thoughts spiraled within him, each one more daunting than the last. "But I'm just a simple human," he protested, frustration edging into his tone. "Why should I be involved in your war?" "Because your humanity is your strength," Lira insisted, her gaze unwavering. "They'll stop at nothing to extinguish us. You must trust me." As Lira spoke, Marcus felt an emotional turmoil swell. The warm ember of curiosity wrestled fiercely with the icy grip of fear. He had been encased in the isolation of his cabin for so long, and now the universe had thrust him into this mind-bending adventure. The thought of abandoning his tranquil world terrified him, yet Lyra's determination pulled him closer, a magnet to his doubt. Their training sessions began in earnest. In a chamber where stars spun overhead in an ethereal ballroom of lights, Lira guided him through complex exercises designed to unlock the latent potential within him. She taught him to focus his mind, manipulate energies that coursed through the ship, and connect with the essence of the galaxy itself, a tapestry of power woven into the very fabric of existence. "Imagine the energy flowing through you," Lira instructed one day, her voice a melodious song. "Let it guide you." Under her careful tutelage, Marcus struggled to summon the energy that flowed around him. The air crackled with possibilities, and yet his connection to it felt as intangible as the stars above. Marcus's doubts began to materialize, his frustration reaching a fever pitch. "What if I can't do this? What if I'm not enough?" he spat, drenched in sweat and desperation. The room glowed a vibrant crimson, mirroring his turbulent thoughts. "You must silence those thoughts," Lira rebuked gently, though her eyes burned with the intensity of 1,000 suns. "Doubt is a void that consumes our power. You are not just human, Marcus. You are a beacon of hope." Her words resonated with him, yet each time he tried to access that power she described, he encountered barriers within, an armor of self-doubt that seemed impenetrable. Days turned into weeks, and as he faced the dizzying landscapes of his psyche, strange changes began to ripple through Marcus. He could feel subtle shifts deep within, something evolving beneath his skin. Shadows of power flickered in moments of focus, whispers of strength teasing at the edges of his consciousness. "Lira," he said cautiously one evening, uncertainty flooding his voice. "What's happening to me?" "Adaptation is essential for survival," she explained, her tone surprisingly gentle but firm. "Embrace it, Marcus. Your true power lies beneath your fear." "But what does that even mean?" he replied, anguish churning within him. "I don't recognize myself anymore." Lyra's piercing gaze softened momentarily, a silent understanding passing between them. "You are becoming more than you were," she pressed, her resolve unwavering. "This is destiny." Trapped in this relentless cycle of fear and discovery, Marcus wrestled with the man he had been and the being he was morphing into. His humanity felt both a burden and a blessing. In his solitude, he held dreams of worlds beyond, yet the gravity of his current reality felt crushing. Each training session brought him closer to something unknown, something that threatened to consume him whole. The boundless cosmos lay stretched before them, filled with secrets and adventures yet to unfold. He entered a shift, feeling energies collide within him, racing through his veins like particles of stardust. The ethereal dawn hummed an enigmatic tune, and Lira guided him deeper into the heart of the ship. Tonight, she proclaimed, we delve into the essence of connection. With trembling hands, Marcus followed her to a sanctuary deep in the ship's core. The chamber was astonishing, circular walls adorned with swirling constellations and floating holographic maps of galaxies long forgotten. The air vibrated with a palpable energy, a fusion of past and future, memories, and potentialities that hung like shimmering threads waiting to be woven into reality. Concentrate, Marcus, Lira instructed, stepping close and placing her hands on his shoulders. Feel the connection between you and the cosmos. Visualize the stars as they intertwine with your essence. With every breath, he felt the echoes of countless lifetimes ripple through him. The realization broke forth that he was a part of something much larger. The fears that once encompassed him began to dissipate like morning fog in the face of the sun's warmth. He closed his eyes, allowing a soft beam of light to penetrate his skull, illuminating the darkness within. Suddenly, a monstrous wave of energy surged forth, and images flashed in his mind, sights both glorious and horrific. A vibrant planet engulfed in flames, alien beings fighting for their existence, and Lira, standing resolute among the chaos, her spirit unbroken. Marcus, her voice sliced through the haze. Take control. As he fought against the torrent of chaotic visions, a deeper truth emerged. This energy was not merely his own. It was the essence of Lira's people, an interconnected web of histories and destinies swirling through his veins. I can't, he gasped, panic rising as the visions loomed larger. Yes, you can. Lira's voice rumbled like thunder, crackling with urgency. Your will is the key to our survival. Acknowledge it. As if ignited by her words, everything within him crystallized. He opened his eyes, allowing courage to rise anew. The ship trembled with the spark of his resolve, as energies collided and thrummed with power. They swore Chapter 3. The transformation in the heart of a vessel that pulsed with life, a surreal atmosphere enveloped Marcus. He found himself enveloped by dynamic swirls of light and sounds that caressed his senses, beckoning him deeper into the abyss of uncertainty. The walls of the ship shimmered, undulating like the surface of a pond kissed by a gentle breeze. Pulses of bioluminescent colors painted the interior, casting eerie shadows that danced across his face. Days blurred into weeks aboard this strange vessel, although time felt distorted in a way that transcended his earthly perception. Trapped in Lira's world, Marcus was gripped by conflicting emotions, curiosity intermingling with fear. This bond they were forging, as fragile as a spider's silk, drew him closer yet kept him at bay. Under Lira's guidance, they practiced daily, engaging in exercises that pushed his limits. With every session, ancient techniques began to flower within him. They spent hours in close proximity, facing one another with unwavering intent. Lira radiated an energy that was both alien and intoxicating, igniting dormant feelings within Marcus. Yet, this powerful evolution began reshaping him in ways he hadn't anticipated. You feel the energy, Lira coaxed, her voice a smooth flow of encouragement. Let it guide you, don't resist. How can I embrace this? He replied, frustration painted on his brow. It feels so foreign, so wrong. Sometimes, the unfamiliar is where our greatest strength lies, Lira countered, her gaze holding him captive. The brightness in her eyes held the wisdom of the stars, urging him to unravel himself. A delicate frown flickered across her pale features. We must forge our strength from the chaos of adaptation. Despite Lyra's comforting words, dread began to weave through Marcus's thoughts. Each session peeled back parts of his humanity, shoving him toward an inevitable and disconcerting evolution. He felt the power thrumming inside him, almost like a second heartbeat, quickening, paralleling his own, urging him to step further into this new reality. The thought of becoming something other than himself churned in a whirlpool of anxiety. One morning, deep within the rhythms of his training, a flash of energy surged through Marcus, delivering a shocking electric jolt. He staggered backward, clutching the cool metal of the ship's wall. "What was that?" he gasped, bewildered. Lira stepped closer, her expression shifting from motivation to urgency. "Your body has begun to unlock. This is the beginning of your transformation." Marcus exhaled sharply, crossing his arms protectively over his chest. "But at what cost? I can feel myself slipping away." "You are not losing yourself. You are becoming more than you were," Lira insisted, reaching out as if to pull him out of a dark whirlpool. "Humanity has a unique strength, the ability to adapt, to connect, and to evolve. Through your fear, you can reshape not only your fate but ours." Despite the thrill of her words, uncertainty nagged at Marcus. He looked through the viewscreen, where the chaotic swirl of distant stars danced in wild formation. Each twinkle felt like a far-off memory, one he might soon forget. "What if I lose everything?" he muttered, unsure whether the question sought comfort or affirmation. "You will gain more," Lira replied, steadying her eyes on his. "The bond we form here could alter the course of galaxies. Do not be afraid, Marcus. You are far more than flesh and bone." In the days that followed, the training morphed into a chaotic exploration of his capabilities and, more importantly, his emotions. Marcus felt the tendrils of Lyra's essence wrapping around his own spirit, merging their destinies. It was a heady connection. Sometimes he would catch her watching him, secrets reflected in her vibrant gaze, both anticipation and worry coloring her expression. During one particularly intense session, Lira introduced him to the ancient ritual of Cividra, a deep meditative state that would connect their energies. He followed her instructions hesitantly. It felt like stepping off the edge without knowing what lay below. As they entered into this trance-like state, the ship ignited in a blaze of luminescence, creating an ethereal cocoon around them. The warmth flowed through Marcus, igniting every fiber of his being, intertwining it with Lyra's unique essence. Images flooded his mind, fragmented moments that defied reality. He saw the sprawling landscapes of Lyra's home planet, Aloria, where cerulean trees swayed under an otherworldly sky painted in endless hues of lavender. He felt the pulse of its inhabitants, their laughter, their sorrow, their resilience. He understood the gravity of her mission, the urgency behind their tandem journey. Yet, in the depths of it all, he felt a shadow looming, an impending feeling that every fiber of this existence was fragile. "Focus, Marcus," Lyra's voice echoed within the vivid tapestry of their shared experience. "Let the fear wash away. This is where capability lies." Suddenly, an outbreak of chaotic energy erupted. Marcus felt the forces of the cosmos dueling within him, pressing in on all sides with a strength that threatened to consume him. His body trembled as the battle between his human soul and the extraordinary powers he was beginning to harness raged ferociously. I can't. Lira, I can't control it," he shouted, struggling against the torrent surging through him. "Remember, this is part of it," Lira urged, her voice reverberating like a cosmic beacon. "Let the energy overtake you. You have to trust it." The ship seemed to pulse with urgency, as though it resonated with the turmoil inside him. An overwhelming tsunami of emotion clawed at Marcus, The fear of losing his humanity crashed against the exhilaration of new power. It made him feel engulfed in the depths of darkness and the heights of light, leaving him suspended between two worlds. Then, with an intensity that felt both tragic and beautiful, he succumbed, fully opening the door to tap into that primordial energy rumbling restlessly inside him. A rush of power cascaded through his veins, igniting a sensation so intense it felt like he had lit fire to his very soul. In that moment, clarity pierced through his haze of doubt. He was neither human nor alien but something entirely new. Pulse by pulse, he felt a connection binding him to Lira, their essences merging, dancing. Her presence enveloped him like a warm blanket. "This is who you are," she cried, pushing him to expand beyond his fears. "This is the destiny you were meant to embrace." But the intoxicating wave of acceptance came crashing to a sudden halt, replaced by the haunting echo of the darkness lurking beyond their luminous cocoon. A flicker of concern crossed Lyra's face as external alerts blared, the ship rumbling ominously beneath them. Chapter 4. The collapse. The ship hummed with an ominous energy, pulsating like a living organism. Glowing spectrums danced across the walls, illuminating Marcus's face as he struggled to comprehend the assault on his senses. It was here, in the quiet chaos of the ship's core, where he surrendered his last remnants of resistance to the latent power bubbling beneath his skin. Lira, standing steadfast at his side, exuded an aura of both strength and desperation. "I can't fight it," Marcus gasped, panic lacing his words, his heart racing uncontrollably as waves of energy coursed through him. He felt his veins filled with molten light, sending tremors through his body. "Lira, you're changing me." The flickering lights revealed a flicker of concern in Lyra's luminescent eyes, a stark contrast to her usual fierce demeanor. "The change is necessary. Embrace it," she cried, urgency ringing in her voice as if her very existence depended upon his acceptance. At that moment, Marcus teetered on the brink of something profound. He could almost taste the potential flooding his senses, intoxicating yet terrifying. With every breath, he felt the delicate threads of his human identity beginning to fray. The battlefield of his mind was raging, warring against the seductive whisper of invincible power that beckoned him. "Is this what you wanted all along?" he yelled, his voice echoing in the ship's metallic confines. The question shot out like an arrow, filled with accusation and fear, awakening truth beneath the surface. "It's what we need," Lira replied, desperation mingling with resolve, her hands brimming with sparks of energy that twisted and coiled like serpents around her fingers. "You are the bridge between our worlds. Without your strength, we face annihilation." Fury and fear clashed within him, manifesting as a wave of energy that threatened to consume him whole. He felt the primal urge to resist, to prove that he was more than just a pawn in this unfathomable game. But with every passing moment, the gravity of his destiny drew him closer to submission. "No," he cried out, though the cry rose up as a feeble protest against the raging tide of transformations threatening to swallow him. "I'm a human, not a weapon, not a pawn in your war." Lira stepped closer, her presence all-consuming, wrapping around him like a tempest. "Do not disregard the power that flows within you. Your humanity is not a weakness, it is a force. You must harness it." Her face was a mirror of emotions, passion, urgency, and fear, all igniting a spark in Marcus's heart. As Marcus wrestled with the turbulent energies within him, he felt the lines between predator and prey blurring. The power burgeoning inside him seemed to understand his conflict, pulsating with a will of its own. His body trembled, caught between a desire to unleash this newfound strength and the instinct to preserve the essence of who he fundamentally was. A chilling realization coursed through him. What if I become something more than I ever was? His voice trembled with vulnerability, yet it held a sliver of hope. A yearning for possibility flickered inside of him, lighting the way amid chaos. "Then you are ready, Marcus," Lira whispered, the ferocity in her voice softening into tenderness. "You'll find that strength and fear can coexist. Your power can reshape our destinies, but you must allow it to unfold." Marcus inhaled sharply, the conflicting emotions now swirling within him freely, chest tightening with the weight of that acknowledgement. In the heat of that moment, a visceral acceptance blossomed. He opened himself to the experience. The energy swirling around him intensified as it merged with the essence of his consciousness. As he stood on the precipice of transformation, a monolithic vision materialized before him, vast galaxies merging, their luminescence bleeding into each other in a kaleidoscope of realities. This expansive tapestry spoke of unity, of intertwined fates in the grand scheme of the cosmos. Yet, among its boundless beauty lay the dark undertones of an encroaching threat, the shadow of annihilation lurking just beyond the horizon. He felt the pressure mounting, a darkness gathering at the edges of his vision, a force that sought to engulf everything he hoped to become. Lira, noticing his turmoil, placed a firm yet gentle hand on his shoulder, grounding him. "Together, we will face what lies ahead," she assured, her voice steady. "For all our kind," he murmured, accepting her as his ally. The alien bond between them strengthened, weaving a shared purpose amid the chaotic tendrils of power enveloping him. With renewed determination coursing through his transformed consciousness, Marcus began to understand the intricate dance of strength and vulnerability. The path he walked was no longer solitary. He and Lira would traverse the celestial battleground together, bridging the divide between their worlds with the explosive energy of their union. Yet doubt still nipped at his heels like a phantom, reminding him that even in this newfound bond, uncertainty reigned. The fate of their peoples hung in the balance, suspended in a tenuous thread woven from the fabric of conflicting destinies. As the chaotic energies within churned and swirled, they whispered the unspeakable truth. There were no guarantees, only possibilities yet to unfold. But as he honed in on the immense potential thrumming through every fiber of his being, something deeper gnawed at him. A strange sensation of premonition tugged at the edges of his mind, revealing glimpses of impending chaos beyond their current struggles. The shadows looming on the edges of their reality thickened, a dreadful omen in the distance. The air around them thickened, charged with electric uncertainty. Marcus felt the anticipation coiled tightly, spiraling toward an eventual confrontation he could not yet comprehend. "We must prepare for what approaches," he breathed, a chill slipping through him like cold shadows. As if answering his silent plea, a pulse emanated from the ship, momentarily illuminating the darkness that enveloped them, a brazen toss of defiance against impending doom. Yet, deep within, Marcus recognized that some elements were beyond their control. Some forces of the universe were indifferent to their pleas. Time ticked onward, unrelenting and unforgiving around them. Amidst the ethereal glow surrounding them, Lira's hand tightened on his shoulder, a stabilizing force as they faced the unknown together. Only time will tell what comes next, he thought silently, turning to Lira, the ally he never expected to have. As they stood together amidst the undulating pulses of energy, their hands entwined under the weight of impending destiny, an unshakable question lingered in the air like the faint echo of a distant star. What new realities awaited them amidst the cosmos? The pulse of the ship intensified, and the shadows thickened as they prepared to leap into the abyss of their intertwined fates, leaving the answers untouched, just beyond their grasp. Chapter 5. The acceptance asterisk. As the feelings of surrender clawed at Marcus like a storm, he stood at the precipice of his new life. Surrounded by swirling light and sound, he came to a realization. Perhaps this transformation held within it the potential he never dreamed he possessed. The ship pulsated, its walls vibrating with the hum of ancient energies, a symphony of unfamiliar sensations that resonated in unison with his own racing heart. Each thud of the ship felt like a heartbeat from the universe itself, urging him to embrace the unknown. "Lira," he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. "What if I become something more than I ever was?" "Then you are ready, Marcus," she whispered, her silvery eyes sparkling with a mix of pride and tenderness. The fierceness that defined her often came with a stern reminder of the stakes at hand, but in this moment, it was tempered, revealing glimpses of vulnerability beneath her majestic facade. "You'll find that strength and fear can coexist." He could sense the significance of her words, the depth of meaning behind the dichotomy she offered. Embracing both parts of himself felt daunting, merging his humanity with the alien powers coursing through him. What would emerge from this synthesis? What monstrosity or marvel lay in wait? His mind raced back to his solitary existence in the cabin, the quiet, predictable serenity that now seemed like a distant memory. Every fiber of his being wanted to retreat to that comfort, but it was as if the universe itself had woven its threads into his destiny, leading him to this very moment. The silence was no longer a refuge but a tomb for the man he used to be. "Trust the process, Marcus," Lira encouraged, stepping closer, her presence a warm shield against the biting winds of uncertainty. "This is a rebirth, not just for you, but for both our worlds. Embrace the merging of power and compassion." The words settled around him like the starlit dust in the air, embedding themselves into the essence of his identity. Could he truly become a bridge between their two civilizations? The thought sparked something deep within him. What if the path ahead is filled with darkness? He questioned, fear gnawing at the edges of his resolve. How do I wield this power without losing myself? Light and darkness are entwined, as are we, she replied, her voice becoming the light in his uncertainty, guiding him through the chaos. What is crucial is defining your own path. Remember, every warrior starts as a novice. With her words echoing in his mind, Marcus closed his eyes, inhaling deeply. The ship reacted, pulsating in rhythm with his breath as if aware of the internal struggle threatening to consume him. It was time to cast away fear and let courage reign. He could feel the raw energy within, an electrifying charge waiting to be harnessed. "I am human," he declared, a newfound ferocity igniting in his tone, "and I choose to embrace this power." "Exactly, Marcus," Lira said, her eyes gleaming with approval. "That acceptance is your birthright. Now take a step forward." With a deliberate movement, he thrust his arms out, feeling the radiant power shimmer forth as he summoned the energies around him. Pulses of incandescent light spiraled from his fingertips, weaving intricate patterns that danced through the air like spectral fireflies. The sensation ignited a torrent of adrenaline, awakening every sense within him. In disbelief, he watched as the light took shape, a swirling vortex of luminous energy laced with colors he couldn't even name, a living embodiment of the union between his humanity and the alien essence within him. "I did this?" he breathed, astonished. "Yes," Lira shouted, exhilaration coating her voice. "Feel it. Every heartbeat, every flicker of light is a part of you, a connection to the cosmos. You are not just a weapon. You are a shield, a beacon for what lies ahead." As their adrenaline surged, Marcus opened his eyes, locking onto Lira's gaze. They were not just allies in a mission. They were two souls intertwined by fate in a galactic tapestry. He suddenly understood the weight of his acceptance, that their fates were now irrevocably entwined. "Lira, what comes next?" he asked, fear tempered by exhilaration. "What is it that we are truly preparing for?" "The shadow that threatens my people grows stronger with each passing moment," Lira explained, urgency threading through her voice. "They are gathering pace, planning an assault that could extinguish our light. You must learn to weave your power not only as a weapon but as a means to connect and unite. That is the true battle. Then let's begin, Marcus said firmly, the internal conflict subsiding as purpose surged forth. I'm ready to stand against this shadow. Their minds met in an etheric merge, a symphony of thought and emotion channeling into a single goal. Sparks of determination ignited between them, a bond unbreakable by the perils ahead. The air crackled with anticipation, a harbinger of challenges yet to come, but for the first time, Marcus felt the strength in standing at the edge of a cosmic storm, not as a victim but as a participant. Together, we are the light, he asserted, a promise woven into the very fabric of their destinies. But always remember the balance, Lira warned with a seriousness that pierced the vibrant atmosphere. While we harness our powers, the darkness evolves. Our unity brings strength, but it must not cloud our judgment. The enemy may use our very gifts against us. Marcus nodded, the weight of her words settling into his core. He had no intention of falling prey to the chaos of conglomerated energies. With a resolute heart, he embraced her counsel, adding it to his growing arsenal of wisdom. Let's train, he stated, his voice steady. I'll not stand beside you as a mere conduit. Together, we will become the force that protects our worlds. Time spiraled into dynamic moments of training, each pulse of energy teaching Marcus the art of harnessing raw power and channeling it into forms of defense. Together, they sculpted radiant shields of energy and waves of force, practicing until the ship resounded with the symphony of their growing might. One evening, after a particularly exhausting session, Marcus looked out through the viewports, the endless expanse of stars twinkling like distant dreams. What if the enemies ahead are too powerful? He voiced into the silence, the haunting specks of light giving witness to his vulnerability. What if we don't succeed? Then we forge paths into the unknown, Lira responded, her voice resolute as she stepped beside him, gazing into the infinity stretching before them. And through our stories, we inspire others to rise against their fears. Remember this. We are not alone in this fight. As they stood in camaraderie against the backdrop of the cosmos, the vastness became a reflection of their journey. Acceptance flowed like the stars, illuminating the voids that had once felt insurmountable. There was fear, yes, but even more, there was hope. Let's prepare, Marcus said at last, the words resolute as they reverberated through the ship's core, weaving into an oath of determination. Let's light the way to peace. As they turned from the shimmering tapestry of stars, a shadow loomed beyond their immediate sight, a whispering threat gathering strength. Yet in that moment, they were not defined by what lay ahead but by what they had chosen to become, guardians of their intertwining worlds. With newfound resolve and hearts aflame with purpose, they faced the unknown, ready to challenge the shadows that threatened to engulf them. The journey had only just begun, and as they stepped into the expanse of the cosmos, a question lingered in the air like a brilliant star. In a universe fraught with peril, could hope transform into the spark of revolution? And thus, they ventured forth, ready to carve their own destinies, embracing the dance of light and darkness that the universe had spun for them. The cosmos awaited their answer. If you liked this story based on real events, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like it. Here you can dive into a different reality every day, where anything can happen. Comment below what kind of story you would like to hear here. Thank you very much for your attention. We are the Sci-Fi family.